So to me, they should have made an order and say, boys, cool the fuck down. Because if both of them had crashed out, it would have been a catastrophe. We would have been hearing on the news today how Verstappen can win the championship.
It's not the ability of the drivers, it's the attitude of the drivers and the rules. And I think that the team leader of McLaren, I think that's lack of race management, because he's just a lab, he's just he's an egghead, but he's Harper. He's not a Formula One person.
Yeah, he's a geek.
And they need Formula One people to make sure.
Somebody like Christian Horner. Christian Horner has some balls, man. He knows about racing. He used to be a racer, and he may not be the number one egghead and know all the technology and stuff like that, but he's definitely a lot more authoritative and makes decisions quickly and decisively. Papaya rules, and what should have gone down to avoid that little crash between Norris and Piastri. What do you have to say, Kunle?
I think that if you're a team, you must do one or two things to show that you're a team. And Piastri and Norris. Okay, Norris made a mistake. He accepts that it was his fault. But this is a team sport. And if it's clear that you're the car behind you that is consistently catching and is right up your jacks, you let him through. If it's a different matter, if you're both, you both started third and fourth and you've been close to each other and battling. But I mean, Norris came from a long ways back to catch him up. He's clearly faster. He clearly had the pace. If I was a team leader, I would tell my team that this rule, I would write it into your contract, or like if not a contract, an MOU, so you don't fall foul of FIA rules, because MOU is not legally binding, but you can use it to, punish them. You can say that I have your dog here, and if you break the rules, something will happen to your darling.
Yeah, they need to use soft power. Soft power. But they say, all of a sudden, your team engineer will now be the other guy's team engineer. Something like that.
And if I'm going to tell them that, yes, they can, maybe I might tell them before the race and not during the race whether they can be doing that. So that I'll tell them that, look, we are...
Kool-Aid is right. It's, whether that's written or not, it's common sense. Those two guys were racing neck to neck. And when I was watching it, Mr. Johnny, when you were watching it, couldn't you tell something's going to happen, man, with the way these guys are racing? Couldn't you tell? So they need to, at that point, they needed to have made an order. And they've used orders before. Remember when they made Lando Norris give up his position last year? Give it back to Piastri. And Norris was pissed off. So they can't say that they don't ever do that. So to me, they should have made an order and say, boys, cool the fuck down. Because if both of them had crashed out, it would have been a catastrophe. We would have been hearing on the news today how Verstappen can win the championship. What do you think, Mr. Johnny? Yeah. If you look at last week at where was last week in Spain, Verstappen, before that tantrum he had, he was on his way to coming podium or even winning that race. So it shows you that Verstappen is purely in this competition, man. And if these guys continue racing each other like this and taking points from them, Verstappen will beat them. What do you think, Afolabi? Yeah.
I agree with you. And we said this all along that, this was going to happen, that somehow they will begin to take points off each other. They should have given team orders, but it's clear now that there are papaya rules, whatever it is, the team orders would have given them a clear opportunity for the faster driver to take the initiative. The team avoided giving team orders, but now there's a clear opportunity to enforce stricter intra-team, behavior and conduct. Every rule has nuances. They should, introduce some nuances. It doesn't have to be cast in stone because it's going to affect them on the long run.
That's why I blame Stella. Stella said, we have team principles. The principle or team ideals. The ideal is that don't crash into each other. That's too vague. You have to have specific tactics written down. Like Kunle said, either Norris should have backed off, they should have told him to back off, or let him pass Piastri. Let him pass. And this has happened several times now where Norris is faster than Piastri, and Piastri has been holding him up. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago in Imola or somewhere. Norris was faster, and Norris has this problem of not starting well. And he's always coming back late in the race. So they have to solve this problem. Kunle, go back to what you were saying before about how they should have let Norris pass. Yeah.
Yeah, and also when you look,
Just talk. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you look at the two cars. You look at McLaren is in a problem. They can't win the championship and with the constructors. So they're struggling to be, what are they? Red Bull wants to win the championship. Ferrari wants to win the constructors. And both of them, their cars are not as good as McLaren. And they're losing on all fronts because they don't have an identity as to what they want to focus on. I had always thought that they were focusing on being the best team and then start fighting amongst themselves for the spoils. But they haven't even got that right. They need to have at least got a good lead on the constructors before they start fighting amongst themselves. It's not good enough. I don't think it's good enough from them. It's not the ability of the drivers. It's the attitude of the drivers and the rules. And I think that the team leader of McLaren, I think that's lack of race management because he's just a lab, he's just he's an egghead, but he's not a carper. He's not a Formula One person.
Yeah, he's a geek.
And they need Formula One people to make sure that.
He knows about cars.
Exactly. And
he doesn't know anything about team technology. And that's where we come to somebody like Christian Horner. Christian Horner has some balls, man. He knows about racing. He used to be a racer, and he may not be the number one egghead and know all the technology and stuff like that, but he's definitely a lot more authoritative and makes decisions quickly and decisively. Okay, so let's move to